The families of those killed when a suicidal pilot crashed a Germanwings passenger jet into the French Alps are suing an American flight school. Investigators found Andreas Lubitz locked himself in the cockpit and flew the plane into the mountainside in 2015. All 150 people on board were killed. Well, Natalie Powel is covering this story for us from Berlin. She joins us now live. Natalie, why exactly are they suing the flight school then?
Well, there are 80 families of the victims involved in this, suing the flight school in which Lubitz trained between 2010 and 2011. And they say that the flight school failed to carry out checks into his mental health record. And that is one of the reasons that they are, certainly one of the avenues that they are pursuing on this. Now, interestingly, the flight school is owned by Lufthansa. Lufthansa, of course, being the parent company of Germanwings. And we know that the families of these victims have been very unhappy with the way that Lufthansa has dealt with things, saying that they hadn't launched an official apology quick enough, and also that the compensation offered by Lufthansa was simply insulting. So it does seem that this is now the avenue that they are going down in terms of what to do next and getting justice for these victims. But it also really does highlight concerns over the fact that the mental health of this co-pilot simply wasn't picked up at the very early stages during his training.
You say there that there's a feeling the compensation was insulting. Has there been an official response as to why his medical history wasn't picked up in this case?
Well, of course, this is the big question. Lufthansa, of course, have always said that they weren't aware of any concerns regarding Lubitz after he was cleared by doctors in 2009. But there is a medical history here, of course. We know that his European coursework training was suspended in 2008 when he underwent treatment for depression. He then took two opportunities where the doctors, certainly the German authorities, would not allow him to be given a medical certificate. It was only in the third try for that authorities granted that medical certificate, but under the clause that if he were to relapse, then that medical certificate would become invalid. So this has raised huge questions about just how much this airline training facility knew when he joined there in 2010, whether it was party to any communications between doctors and aviation administration. But it also raises questions about the sharing of this private information in these sorts of times.
Okay, Natalie, thank you very much. Natalie Powell there in Berlin.